Hi everyone, welcome back to our series of short video lectures on advanced object-oriented analysis and design on the topic of design at the detailed system level. Today we'll be covering visibility. Now, visibility is an important part of object-oriented analysis and design. And hey, no, what's happening? Is the haze coming back? What's the PSI? Hey, no, this isn't what I mean about visibility. That's not what I mean about that. Go away. Thank you. Okay, let's talk about visibility. Everything that you need to know about visibility in UML is shown in this handy dandy chart. There are 4 different types of visibility. The first type is called public visibility, which is denoted by the plus symbol. A feature, which is an operation or an attribute, that is public is directly accessible by an instance of any class. So a public attribute can be directly accessed by essentially any object. The second type of visibility is called the private visibility, which is denoted by the minus sign. And private is sort of the opposite of public, and a private feature may only be accessed by an instance of the class that includes it. So for example, if I have a private attribute in my bank account class, then only operations defined within the bank account class itself may directly access this attribute. The third type of visibility is called protected visibility, which is denoted by the hex symbol. And a protected feature may be accessed by either an instance of the class that contains it or by a subclass of that class. Finally, there is a fourth type of visibility called package visibility, which is denoted by the tilde symbol. And in fact, if you do not put any visibility symbol in your class diagram in UML, then by default, it is assumed that that property is of package visibility. Now, what package visibility means is that this feature is directly accessible only by instances of a class in the same package. For certain programming languages such as Java, there is this construct called a package, where you can group classes together into essentially a package. And something with package visibility can be directly accessed by any class within the same package. Now, for our purposes, just be aware that there's such a thing called package visibility, but otherwise, feel free to ignore it. At this point, you may notice that, hey, I've got a new toy. I've got a Wacom tablet with a stylus, and it's kind of fun to draw on the slides. I can even write the letter H, which happens to be the 4th letter of the password. Just thought you'd know. Let's continue our discussion with an example. And in this example, we have a class called animal, which has 3 attributes and 3 operations. The name attribute is public, the age attribute is private, and the gender attribute is protected. Similarly, the getName operation is public, the getAge operation is private, and the getGender operation is protected. So obviously this isn't a very realistic example, but it serves our purposes. In addition, we have a cats class, which is a subclass of animal. Now, given this structure, what if we have this code? This is a declaration of the animal class, including an operation within the animal class called do something. And the question I want you guys to answer is, does this code compile? And if not, which lines do not compile? Now, go ahead and pause this video and think about it. Seriously, pause the video. Pause, get it, pause. I'm not funny at all, am I? Have you thought about it? Okay, in this case, we have the class animal, and the operation do something is within animal itself. And this means that it can certainly access the name attribute directly, which is public. The age attribute is private, but since it is within the animal class itself, it also compiles. And finally, what if it's protected? Well, the protected visibility says that it's accessible by either a subclass of the class or the class itself, and therefore gender is also accessible. The same holds true for all the operations. So the public operation can be directly accessed, getName, getAge, and getGender. So in this case, this code compiles with no problem. Let's go on to a second example. And in this example, we have the class cat, which is a subclass of animal. And in cat, there is a method called do something else. So go ahead and pause the video right now and think, does do something else compile? And if not, which are the lines that fail to compile? Have you thought about it? Well, let's see. In this line, name equals to grumpy cat, we are trying to access a public attribute. As we know, a public attribute can be accessed by any object, so this line does compile. However, for the age attribute, it is declared as private, and we know that private attributes may only be accessed directly by the class that declares it, not by its subclasses. So actually, this line does not compile. However, the gender attribute is declared as protected, and protected attributes may be accessed directly by either the class itself or its subclasses. Since cat is a subclass of animal, it is able to directly access the gender attribute, so this line does compile. We can apply this reasoning to the operations as well. So get's name, which is public, compiles. Get age, which is private, cannot be directly accessed by cat, so this does not compile. And get's gender, which is protected, does compile, because cat is a subclass of animal. That's not too difficult, is it? Now let's go on to our third and final example, which is the robot class. That has nothing to do with animals. The robot class can do robot things, and in do robot things, it declares an animal object called A. Now, once again, pause this video and think, does this code compile? And if not, which lines fail to compile? So what's the answer? Well, we know that robot is not an animal, and robot is not a subclass of animal. So the only thing that it can access directly are public attributes and public operations. Everything else that's private or protected, a robot is not allowed to directly access. So this line, this line, this line, and this line, they do not compile. It's actually pretty straightforward, isn't it? And that's pretty much all you need to know about visibility. Thank you for watching. Our next lesson is on cohesion and coupling. Pretty short video, so some small potatoes for you.